There we go. Right, we are live. We are live. Here we are for another Chargeheads live, Thursday, 8 o'clock. Hopefully that's where everyone needs to be, you know, especially if they're into electric cars. Now, my name's Tim. You might recognize me. You might not, because I've had a bit of a change of hair. And anyone that's been following the socials, I basically got all my hair cut off and donated it to charity. So that's all going to a charity called Little Princess Trust. And I've managed to make, I think it works out to be about £1,350 charity donation. So again, thank you so much to everyone who donated. Work, EV Cafe, Vital EV, friends and family and everyone else. So thank you very much. The link is still up if people still want to donate, if they can afford to. That'd be wonderful. So this is Chargeheads Live. It's all about modified EVs, EV conversions, EV related stuff. I'm a petrolhead at heart, but it's all about exciting electric cars. And today we have Will from Tesla Jigsaw. Now, Will, before you give us a little intro, I met Will at the Tesla Supercharger event. And yeah, I was really, you know, when we first met, I was like, oh, we started talking, and do you know what? It was like, oh, there's a bit of connection there, other than the electric cars. And yeah, and we kind of kept in contact, and your channel's grown and I'm plodding away with mine. And it was a great time to get back connected and find out how you're doing, and also to find out about the new shape Tesla Model 3 Highland, because we've both driven it recently. But yes. Yeah, take it away, Will. Give us a little intro about yourself and you know, how you got into electric cars.
Yeah, okay. Well, I'm a sort of converted petrolhead too, so I've just always had a great time with different cars and loads of motorbikes when I was a kid. And just somewhere along the way, I stumbled across into electric cars. So yeah, my first little experience in a BMW i3 absolutely ages ago, and it just blew me away. That little fella, just zipping off at the lights, just loved it. And then you know, started following Tesla as a company sort of back in 2016. Fell in love with Tesla's mission to accelerate the world's transition to sustainable energy. I just, you know, really got behind that. I love what they were doing. It's about time someone's, you know, really trying to transform the energy system and electric cars. And they've obviously twisted the arms of, you know, every auto manufacturer on the planet, haven't they, to go electric as well as lots of other stuff. So, yeah, after watching the Model 3 reveal, I bought one back in 2019. So just a standard range plus Model 3. One of the really early ones. I got mine in August 2019. I was just blown away by it, and I still am. And you know, along the way, it's saved my life. I mean, it took over from what would have been a very nasty motorway pileup. I had my two little kids in the back, and before I knew what was happening, the car had just shoved me across to get me out of the way from a car that was about to swipe me. You know, in that moment, it just blew my mind. I mean, I just could not quite believe what had happened. So much so that I forgot to press the flipping record button on Sentry on the dash cam. So I would have had a nice video of it to share. That would have been fun, wouldn't it? But I've also, you know, I did a video recently just where I've saved £12,000 over 4.5 years just for owning a Tesla, because I'm super tight with money. We only charge overnight. Same. I like being frugal. Yeah, I don't know what it is.
Absolutely. You got to be at the moment. You got to be at the moment with inflation and, you know, all the rest of it.
I've been really. I'm really into sort of, you know, Mr. Money Mustache, and we got into the financial sort of, you know, position of, you know, earning more and spending less and saving and, you know, investing in that. And, you know, just getting an electric car, that was the sort of, you know, just a real turning point for us, just to realize where we're spending our money. And the fact that we've saved £12,000 in 4.5 years in, you know, not burning petrol, you know, no tax and, you know, no maintenance and servicing, nothing's gone wrong with it. Yeah. And
you've done a recent video about that. I did notice that. I'm not actually, truth be told, I've not actually watched it through. So I'll be interested to see how that's compared with my, ownership. So no, this is the thing, you know, a lot of people say, oh, you know, electric cars are too expensive, but actually, you know, when you look at the long-term cost, you know, in some cases you do need to put the upfront, you know, money in to be able to make those savings, a bit like your solar and your battery storage. However, you know, when you take into consideration charging at night at a cheap rate, if you've got a driveway, the much cheaper service and maintenance costs, you know, the list, it goes on and on and on, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. If you can be frugal and you have a driveway, you can charge on a cheap overnight tariff. You know, and you can buy pretty much any electric car, and then you will save an absolute fortune on petrol, you know, on just burning it. Yeah. So yeah, and then just to sort of finish my sort of ramblings of an intro, just you know, I started getting really into, you know, Tesla so much. My friends and family were just like, shut up about Tesla. So I got, after about 2 years of procrastination, I decided to do what any sane person would do and start a YouTube channel, just thinking I could, you know, just talk about the thing that I'm so passionate about. You know, I absolutely love Tesla and their mission, what they're doing. And just, you know, to be quite honest, when I bought the car, I was just like, this is the only company I want to give my money to. They are going to do good things with them, with the money. It's like, how could I give the money to Volkswagen after Dieselgate? You know what I mean? Something, you know, I wanted to support Tesla, put my money where my mouth is there, and support them. So, and then, yeah, once I started the YouTube channel, this is it. I make videos about Tesla stuff.
Yeah, no, and yeah, please go and have a look to see what Will's doing on Tesla Jigsaw on YouTube, and you're quite active on X as well. So yeah, guys, have a little look if you're, you know, a Tesla fan. I think it's very difficult not to be a bit of a Tesla fanboy, you know, Tesla fan once you've owned one, because, you know, you see all of the benefits of driving one. And I think there is that kind of, like often is the case, stigma attached to whether it's Tesla as a whole, with all the traditional negatives or the EV myths about them, or Elon. You know, not everybody loves the Elon, but, you know, you're in good company here, Will, because, you know, I do own a Tesla. The TVR will be the electric TVR that, you know, converting is going to have a Tesla motor. So yeah, it's one of those really. So yeah. Let's go on to the subject where we most recently spoke about, which is the new shape Tesla Model 3. Now, we both had a test drive in the same model, right? The short range.
I think it's the very same car, I think. Was it? Were you in Northampton?
Yeah. Was it the grey one?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
It's a grey one.
I was warming the seat for you.
I know,
warming the seat for you.
You know, the funniest thing, I forgot to put this in my video because I didn't add it, but I sat in the car. And I was like, what the hell's that noise? I could just hear this vroom, like behind me. And I was like, this isn't very quiet at all. What the hell is it? And it took me about 5 minutes to realize ventilated seat. I could hear the fans in it. I was like, I didn't want to record it because I could hear the noise, you see. So yeah, once I'd figured out how to turn off the ventilated seat, sort of the video began. But
and you thought it was going to be quieter, but there was that noise in the background. Yeah, I was
in the back seat.
As you might have seen from the video, I was warming up the tyres for you, checking the traction control for you.
Yeah, I watched your video. That was great. Yeah.
As usual, as you saw today, and if anyone's a little bit confused, who normally watches the lives that thinks, Tim, why is your background strange? And other than your hair and everything's different, it's because basically my iMac died, and I only use it for Chargehead stuff, and it died, so I had to take it to the shop. 2 years old, Adam and Eve. Not ideal, but there we go. But yeah, going back to the Tesla Model 3. So yeah, I drove it, I think, a week before you. And I wasn't, the reason why I talked about, you know, the setup today is I wasn't best prepared, because I literally only put one camera in. I was going to put two because they said, you got 50 minutes, off you go. I was like, and a little bit, haphazardly jumped in the car. I didn't think about where I was going. I just drove off, you know, in typical Tim style, after putting the camera in. And I wish I'd done more of a country road route. But what I did a little bit of town driving and then dual carriageway and then hammered it around the roundabout a bit. But what sort of driving did you do in it?
Oh, mine was brilliant. I came out of the Tesla car park and then drove straight into the supermarket car park.
So you didn't?
A little bit lost around there. So yeah, that's all in the video as well. It just, yeah, it's quite silly. I managed to find my way into some country roads. So yeah, I really gave it some stick.
Yeah.
What surprised me, there's a few things that have surprised me. One, when I've watched the video back today, is like there's loads of bonging all the time. It doesn't shut up making noises. And I had the sat nav on to you know, take me back to the Tesla showroom. I just kept it plotted in there, and I was thinking, does it bong when you miss your turning?
Yeah, but you might have it in Joe mode in your current one. And again, time frame, I wanted to make sure I was doing the settings as per my car, so I could do a direct, you know, comparison. I think Joe mode, you must have yours, Tesla, in that as I do, and it turns off all of those annoying bongs. One thing I did see from anyone that saw my video on the new Highland is there was a red light And I think it was it must have been a
it's a
side
blind
assist.
spot indicator.
Yeah,
isn't it?
yeah.
Yeah.
Whereas on the one that we've both got, it's in the camera that comes up when you indicate. It's a red light on the actual camera, isn't it? Which is a recent update. Again, if anyone hasn't got a Tesla, these are all these updates that, you know, they keep improving. Perfect example when you're talking about the safety wheel, you know, saving the family somewhat, is the fact that they, you know, they change how the airbags deploy, you know, within microseconds to make it safer. I mean,
they understand the weight of the person sat on the seat and how quickly to deploy it. I mean, it's mind-blowing.
Oh, well, I didn't even know that.
Well, yeah, there's so much going on with the safety that I'm surprised they don't put more stuff out to let people know about the safety, because it really is sort of, you know, first and foremost with Tesla, you know, not just you know, the physical safety of the car, the way it's built and manufactured, but the software that controls it too, and you know, gets involved when it needs to.
I think there's a lot of positives out there that I think aren't often highlighted. And you know, the over-the-air updates I think are so key. I mean, going back to my issues with technology and not having my iMac and being on my phone tonight, is the fact that I took it to Apple and they're like, I said, oh, the screen's turned off. They're like, oh yeah, it needs updating. It costs £69, and I'm like, what? Couldn't it update over the air? Come on, this is an Apple product, surely. And they want to charge me £69 for it. Obviously, so used to Tesla that it's just going to update. It'd be, you know, it'd be free, and you know, if only life could be like that. I think they update my brain. That'll be a future thing, no doubt.
It's coming. It's Neuralink. They've just done their first human trials like 2 days ago, haven't they? Yesterday.
Oh, really? I didn't realise that there are human trials already. I knew it was coming because I watch a lot of the Elon Musk interviews, like especially the Joe Rogan ones, because I do love a bit of Joe Rogan action. And
me too.
So getting updates, you do tend to get a nice long amount of time listening to, you know, all the exciting things going on, as well as watching him, you know, Joe Rogan shoot an arrow at his Cybertruck actually live, rather than the media getting hold of it and twisting it around to make it negative, like the legacy media like to do.
Just a bit. Well, it's all part of the FUD fighting, isn't it, really? It's just endless, isn't it? I mean, from, you know, what was it? 200,000? No, 220. How many recalls was there for Tesla? I can't even remember how many there was. 200,000 recalls. Yeah, you've got to take it back to your dealer. No, it's an over-the-air update. You pillocks. Why are you saying that?
No, it's
depressing.
I do want to watch. Sorry, go on. Mate.
So no, I was just going to say it's kind of part of what we all find ourselves in. If you're a fan of Tesla or you're following this story, you can't help be dragged into this ridiculous political, you know, constant stream of attack against Elon and Tesla. It's exhausting, because, you know, people are coming up to me and Tesla owners again, like, oh, you sure you want to, you know, park that near your house because I've heard it just combusts, you know, or you can't go in a car park because you'll make the car park collapse. Yeah, there's just a stream of stupidity just flowing into people's brains who read the news, and just
doesn't charge in the wind. Doesn't charge in the winter. La la la.
Yeah, I got told I couldn't go through puddles once. They're genuine. You know, I was fully charged. You know, is the displaying my car with the fully charged. With the Tesla Owners Club in the UK, and one bloke was adamant that I could not drive through puddles. I'm like, yeah, I have. I've driven through many. You know, it's surprising.
Oh yeah, you can't wash it. You can't wash it with water. No. That's why they're all Teslas are dirty, and when they're new, they're not. They're lovely. But no, you know, hey, if you watch Joe Rogan, if we were to open up the rhymes and reasons of like the Elon Musk and everything that's going on at the moment, you know, whether it's in America, the world, you know, we'd be here for a long time, because
there's a lot to discuss.
There is a lot to discuss. So let's try and channel our attention to
let's not go down politics.
No.
Let me just finish. Sorry, I just want to finish saying about one thing for the test drive, because here's the other thing that I noticed once I got myself out of the car park and got myself down the road, and you know, I did a 0 to 60.
Did you?
Oh yeah.
How did you time it? Was it like in your head, or come on, was it accurate?
Oh yeah. No, it was totally in my head. No, yeah, it's not accurate. It's not. I'm not a scientist. No, I just literally floored it to see what would happen. Okay, so just to feel the oomph and to see what the difference might be, because obviously it's now got LFP batteries, lithium phosphate, and then mine's got the original 2170s. So, but mine's
NMC
still just rear wheel drive, you know, just standard. And I've got to say, like, I was not blown away at all. I was like, oh, it's quick. I mean, once you put your foot down at 30 or 50, it shifted. But from the standstill, I was like, oh. And I was a bit secretly disappointed, but I wasn't secretly disappointed because I show it in the video and I'm like, oh, that's weird. And it is 5.8 seconds meant to be to 60, the new one. And
well, did you go? It's weird. You didn't want to sound disappointed because you're so much of a Tesla fan. You'd be like, I don't want to say anything negative now.
No, because here's another thing I can't help doing. I can't lie, number one, and I always have to speak the truth. I just can't help it, which is why I offend so many people.
Oh dear.
And yeah, people get upset with me all the time. But I have to speak the truth. And like, you know, I really thought, in fact, afterwards, someone pointed out on the video, it's like, you had it set in chill mode. You must have done, because clearly it's really fast and, you know, it's not as.
See, this is what I'm talking about. You should, again, I know I was flustered with certain things, but I did make sure, you know, certain things were done. But I couldn't work out. You've obviously got the short range. What colour? Has it got any other spec on it at all?
Just standard range plus.
And what colour?
White with nice 19-inch wheels. So that's
the 19s. Very nice, very nice.
Oh, yeah.
So mine's white, long range with the full self-driving, and I wanted to play around with the Autopilot because since they've done an update, over-the-air update, I've noticed that it is a bit more intrusive. So I was interested to know what the new shape Tesla was like, but I couldn't quite get it to work. Did you have a play with the cruise control and the Autopilot?
No, I didn't actually. There's one thing I didn't use. I don't think it had any advanced autopilot. I just think it had just basic, the same as mine. So yeah, I didn't get a chance to play with that. Apart from, I did press it once because it's the button on the steering wheel now, isn't it, on the right instead of the stalk? So I did press it. Yeah. I came off, and that was about it. But
yeah, I pressed it.
Sorry,
go on. No, you go. Sorry,
I'm constantly interrupting. I apologise. I've got so much whizzing in my head. I want to just dollop it on you. Yeah, so people were basically saying in the video, you must have had it in chill mode. There's no doubt about it. But you can see it in the video when I adjust the steering wheel and change it to sport settings. You can see that I had it set to standard. It wasn't on chill at all. So,
oh really?
Interesting. I was left a bit confused by the end of it because I got into my car and I, floored it early on, and there's just a massive, amount of punch that hits you from the standard range plus the original one compared to this LFP one. So it says that mine's about 5.6 seconds to 60.
Well, funny enough, I'm not ignoring you. The reason I'm looking over here is because I've got the special Chargehead spreadsheet going on, which I'm soon to re-update on the website because I was adding the Volkswagen ID7. Not that I think there's any point, let's be honest, but but I thought I'd better anyway. Just to keep the VAG fans happy. But yeah, I can see your shape is 5.6, still does 140 miles an hour. Jeez.
It does.
And the new one,
5.8, I believe.
Interesting. Well, because the LFP of the facelift was 6.1 and 140. So interesting. I suppose it all depends on what figures you're going by, And
it does. I'm going from Tesla's website figures.
Right.
On the UK ones, because it is different. If you go to America and you look at the range, it looks terrible. But if you come to UK and look at WLTP range, it's 421 miles for the long range. I mean, that's quite different to what they get in the States and around. So yeah, you do have to bear in mind these differences in figures. But quite a surprise though for the 0 to 60, unless obviously I'm a child. I mean, I like acceleration, going quickly, so it sort of meant something. But that's exactly what I do in the video. It's like, yay! Most people can't give a monkeys. So
I always go by EV database, and if people listening, watching later, don't have a good resource for accurate figures, I always recommend EV database. I'm sure a lot of people use it already, and that's what I use my spreadsheet on. So accurate range, and which is, most people like to see the range on there because, although I called my channel Chargeheads, and then a couple of years later I got into charging. That's my work now, obviously, to people that know already, obviously. But I'm quite fascinated by the charging speeds. So I'm quite, interested to see how fast they charge. It's not just about the range to me. It's like, oh, what's the max charging speed? Because I get very excited when I get, you know, bear in mind, mine's a long range, 220 kilowatts of power, you know.
Yeah.
But I can see on the,
I think.
on the, yes, that's max on the short range.
Yeah.
On yours, it says EV database says 198 miles. What sort of mileage do you get out your current one?
Depends really on winter, probably just 170, something like that, but sort of 200 miles in the summer. But it depends on a few circumstances. I mean, we're wedding musicians, so we carry around a lot of gear in the back of the car as well. So that perhaps adds to adds to the weight of the thing, and those wheels as well that we got, the upgraded wheels, they lose a bit of range. But,
a little bit.
We don't care. I mean, we travel around sort of the Midlands area, if you like. We've even been to Scotland and back for a gig.
So what do you play? Are you the actual singer? Are you the actual singer?
Oh no, I play that guitar, the acoustic guitar. My wife sings.
Cool.
That's been our job for 17 years. Mango Acoustic Duo, we're called, for some weird reason.
There we go.
And
there we go. Mango, topical.
Yeah, I don't know why we called that. I think we're looking at a jar of chutney when we called ourselves, and that was basically it.
I do love a poppadom and mango chutney. I mean, who doesn't? You know,
indeed.
If anybody that's watching, please comment whether you do or not. Oh, by the way, everyone, I haven't even looked at how dare I haven't even looked at the comments. Sorry, I'm on my blooming phone, so I can't see. Right, I better say hello to everyone now. Sorry, everyone. So Top Notch, hello. Foxhound Follies, hello. S777DJT. I hear that the new T's in the next year will be taxed and taxed. Is there truth in this? Yes, there is truth in the taxing side of things. We will touch that in a second. Hi, Jerome. Foxhound Follies. To be honest, looks better with a natural background. It was a natural background before. I'd stopped doing the orange background, by the way, buddy. Hi, David. I need to speak to you, David. Moggy liked the look of my wheel covers. I reckon he's after a set. So where did we get to?
I like them too. They're nice.
Thanks, mate. Thanks. So
right.
Yeah, we're talking about range. So yeah, I'm really interested by, you know, Richard Simmons has got quite a decent channel. He's really good with efficiencies. He's got a long range. So I've watched some of his videos, but I need to watch the efficiency one. So I am interested to see what the new one will do. The LFP model of your short range was actually supposedly, according to EV database, not WLTP, it was 235. So it's considerably better than the old one. I know that a lot of people compare the LFP battery Model 3 pre-facelift old shape to the long range in terms of, range, because with mine, you can only really charge to 80% for longevity of the battery, whereas the LFP battery, as I'm sure you know, Will, you can charge up to 100, can't you? So yeah,
much easier, isn't it? But
I was going to say, are you quite careful with how much percentage you charge your battery? Are you quite careful with that, or?
Yeah, sort of. I mean, we just keep it plugged in every night, really, and just charge to 80. Don't really drive that much, to be honest. I mean, I'm planning a trip to Scotland soon, which would be quite fun with a couple of my Patreon supporters, which is really cool. So yeah, we're going to go for a proper drive, because that's what I used to do with motorbikes. I used to drive up to Edinburgh, I'd rent a motorbike for a weekend, or when I had bikes, I'd sort of go around Wales or whatever. I just really missed that. And I met up with a couple of guys the other day, and we just went for a drive in our Teslas. And it felt like, I'm back to my sort of biking days where we're all just like, buddies driving along. So yeah, one guy's getting a drone, so we can do some filming out there, and
cool,
getting some walkie-talkies. So we'll be like a proper little Top Gear crew.
That would be good.
Get some footage. Don't know how we got onto this subject. Do steer me if you need to.
No, don't worry. We'll be all over the place. So
okay. Who are these nice people here then in the comments? Because I've never, this is my first time ever on a live stream with anyone. So
yeah, Chargeheads followers. Again, I recognise some names more than others, because some people put like random things like certain digits and stuff. I'm like, I know them, but I'm like thinking, so I'm rubbish with names anyway. Yeah. But
I know Top Notch. He's a terrific fella.
Good stuff. Yeah, no, it's has anyone got any questions they want to put to myself or Will? Bear in mind, we've both driven the Tesla Model 3 new shape. They've got any questions about the new Model 3? I'm sure we'll talk about indicators at some point as well, but be interesting to see if anyone's got any questions. Oh, Joseph Moore. Yes. Hey, Joe. How did you find the noise in the cabin? Was it quieter? For me, I didn't notice it until I got back in my old one. And I did notice it straight away. It was a bit quieter, but when I got into my other one, it was much louder, and you could tell on the video because the wind noise was so much worse on the camera as well. What about yourself, Will?
I'm just trying to remember what year's yours. Is yours the slight facelifted model?
Mine's a 69, but it's probably not the best example because it's it's on IBAC springs, so it's it's shaved up to the max with a few bits on it. The sound as my reaction in the video is, it just sort of captured my actual response to it. All of a sudden I realized there was no sound in there, and I was like driving along, just leaving the car park, and it was silent. So for me, I could really hear the difference in sound. Although I've got super sensitive ears though as well, so I don't know if that's anything to do with it. Just from years of being a drummer and having tinnitus, for some reason I have very acute awareness of sound. So it felt it felt peculiarly quiet, if that's if I could say it. It just felt weird, but I loved it. I thought it was perfect, especially when I was doing 70 on the motorway or dual carriageway. It was a dream. It just felt so refined and quiet, and just it felt amazing qualities to me. I was blown away with that. The quality. I am a bit of a sucker for quality of interior. And I still think that the first generation Tesla was not bad. Bearing in mind I've come from a VAG background, and yes, okay, in a fully leathered, extended leathered Audi with a silk nappa leather, that's a good quality interior. And Audis are very well known for good interiors. But the new shape Tesla, you could tell, when you're touching the materials, it is a very nice place to be. One thing that I did mention in my video was if you go for the black interior, you have kind of carpety kind of material door cards, which with the white interior. And Joe, I know you've gone for the white interior. You love it. You get the kind of faux leather door cards, which is lovely. It feels much better quality. What was your thoughts on the material bit at the top? I'm unsure about that.
The look of it, I thought was fine. I mean.
Yeah, it looks nice.
I think it's an upgrade from the wood, and of course the light. The nice ambient lighting it's got now. I really like the fact that it's got that little aluminium sort of beading around the whole thing as well, just to make it feels classy. It looks a bit classy. I was a bit worried that was going to be a bit cheap, just being a light. But I think with the extra aluminium touches on the steering wheel, on the center console, on the doors, and on the light, I thought it all just came together beautifully. Yeah, I was really impressed with the interior of it.
Going to Dean. Dean had a question. Wales is, all right, say it first. I don't think it is a question actually. Wales is probably missing a trick charging infrastructure. Put in some charging hubs in some large towns, landmarks, and would attract a lot more tourism. People going on the road trips. Yes, I agree. Because leaving Newtown, because I was at Electric Classic Cars Day, which was great. Amazing cars they got there. And coming back, I got to the charger with like 3%. And although I left Northampton with 100%, 95%, got there and got to there, so it wasn't too bad. And it cost me £7 to fill up from home, and then £15 at a charger to get back, and I still got 30 miles left. So it's not bad. Wales and back for 22 quid, is it? Let's be honest.
Great, yeah. I mean, what's the charging situation in Wales? I mean, you've got Aberystwyth, Cardiff. Is there any more?
I don't know. I went to one North Wales when I was in Chester recently, which was like in the middle of nowhere. But again, fast charging, it was fine. But it's. I do agree with that though, Dean. I think it does need some more chargers there, and we're the ones to do it. I say we're the ones. Dean, I'm not sure if that's Dean from work actually. Is it? No, it's not. I don't think it is. But me and my manager Dean are the people to do it. Any Alcantara? Do you know what? I am a bit of a sucker for Alcantara. Will? Do you like a bit of Alcantara?
I do. I used to have it in my Mini. That was quite nice. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I do.
Not in the Tesla, was it?
No, it was the the side bolsters on the seats are the sort of faux, nice quality, soft leather, and then in the middle you got the ventilated seat. Again, my preference would be the Alcantara vented seat in the middle, because when you're hacking it round the corner on a private road or track, then you don't slide out the seats. So that's why I love a bit of Alcantara. And when you sat in them in the summer, it's not so hot. Although when you got the ventilated seats, doesn't matter, does it? Doesn't matter at all.
It'd be nice.
So it's
they added there's fabrics in the door pockets as well, wasn't there? And I just thought, everything's soaking up sound. That's what I feel, that section on the front has replaced the wood. From an acoustics point of view, everything in that car is now soaking up sound. From the double glazing, in the door pockets, and everything. Yeah, I'm trying to think of other things to say about it.
Well, I'm no stranger to the double glazing, because I used to see it in the Audi A8s when I used to work for Audi a lot. Obviously, because that's the way to make it quieter. But what did you think of the cup holders? Did you see the little rubber glue? Yeah, nice. Yeah, I like that, because I've got a friend did some 3D printing to get one of those, like the aftermarket things you put in the middle, so the cups stay in the middle. But you don't need that for the new Tesla, because they fit snugly, which is really good. Yeah. What did you ever play around with the rear screen much?
Yeah. Well, I went to a Tesla showroom quite some time ago when they first revealed it in the UK. So I spent like 2 hours in it, just like looking at everything. Have you seen the little catches underneath the doors now as well? So they've got these little metal hooks. So I think they help with quite a few things. The thud of the door now sounds amazing. It sounds proper Volkswagen. And it also helps with safety as well, just keeping it and tracking it into position as it's closing and keeps it into place. So it would help in accidents too. But so I had a really good poke around it like beforehand. And even the boot is actually a bit bigger. So you got like side pockets in each side, and physical space has improved as well. And the opening is just slightly taller, and not sure if it's wider, but it's slightly taller.
I didn't notice that. That's interesting.
There's so many more changes that I didn't actually know about until I did a bit of digging and saw on Tesla's website, read through all the sort of improvements. There's a lot more change than people realize, I think.
Do you know, something that I was disappointed by? I say disappointed. It was more of an assumption on my part, and I think it's down to a delay of some description or the technology not being there. I was hoping that the long range was going to have a different chemistry battery and a much longer range, but it didn't. And I think maybe they've made all these changes to the inside, the outside, the technology, everything, which is fantastic. And they've left. Let's say they've left. For now, they've left the battery, but I'm sure there will be a revision at some point, whether it's in 12 months or 2 years, where there will be that new battery pack. I'm sure it won't be solid state, but it's going to be. I think that will be the next upgrade, and again, another good reason to upgrade. If you're on a 2-year lease or something. I mean, just quickly. Sorry, Will. Joseph said, "Is it worth the upgrade?"
Oh yes, absolutely. in my humble opinion.
Now, Joseph, I know you. I know you well enough to say that I know that as soon as you jump into a new one, and then get into the old one, you don't want to be in the old one anymore. And for me, I'm a bit of a steering wheel pervert. I love steering wheels. Like, it has to be the right shape. It has to. It's kind of. And I love the current Tesla steering wheel, my current one. And when I went from the new shape to the old shape, I was like, oh, because it's so futuristic on the new one, isn't it? It's just I love it. So Joseph, you're in good hands.
Yeah.
Sorry, welcome.
Oh, that's right. I'll go back to batteries for a minute. They're not LFPs in the long range.
I don't think so. No, only in the short range.
Yeah. So, but I mean, we've heard quite a lot about, well, not quite a lot, a few sneaky hints at the new performance model. Now that will be a Plaid version. We've seen some sneaky photos of bucket seats and the Plaid badge available. So I think when that comes out, it will most certainly have the oomph of the right battery chemistry and performance to match, I would imagine.
Yeah, I mean, you know, in hindsight, should I have not spent X amount on a TVR Tesla conversion and waited for the new Tesla Model 3 Plaid and bought one of those? In hindsight, that would have been a sensible choice. But Will, if you know me well enough now, I'm not the most sensible person in the world. But see as though we've got 11 people currently watching the live stream. If everyone gives it a like and gives it a comment, that will really help improve the chat and get more people on board to ask more questions. Dean,
Can I like it?
I don't know.
No,
give it a go. Dean mentioned, I think it's great facelift, definitely modernised, improved. Cherry red with 19 sport wheel, stunning combo. I agree.
Yeah,
I do
like
the cherry red.
Although sorry.
No, go on.
Sorry.
No, don't worry.
When we saw the white one, that looked absolutely beautiful. It reminded me very much of the second generation Tesla Roadster. There's a white one of those that is just out of this world, and it looks really similar. So
the headlights, isn't it? The headlights.
Yeah, it is the headlights. If you darken the headlights just somewhat, you'll get a real. It just looks so sporty and great. The back end of it as well with the lights, it just popped with the white one. But you know, don't anyone get the white one, because I'm going to get that.
So
everyone have white ones.
There's a comment, and I know I recognise S777DJT, and I'll be a kick myself who it is. But is there any more colour options other than or an option to pick individual colour? Honda Jazz Champagne Pink. Now, you can do wraps now on Teslas. I think it costs about £2,000. Is that in our country, or is that just America?
It's just America that they're offering it at the moment.
Is it just America
at
the moment?
Building? No. They are building somewhere, aren't they? In Birmingham. One of the centres is going to be experimenting with this, which I think is it. Yeah, I can go off on a tangent if you want, but but carry on first. Yeah, I
think I know. I've got a little sneaky feeling. I know who put Honda Jazz Champagne. I knew it was you, Doug. Basic. Doug, I used to work with a while ago, and someone ordered an Audi A3 in the individual color. It's exclusive color. You have to wait extra 3 months for it. And this lady ordered this Honda Jazz Pink. And when it came, she was like, no, I don't want that. She lost about $2,000 deposit. And it sat in the showroom for ages. Yeah, it was an individual color, let's say. Nice. Thanks, Doug, for reminding us of that special color. But yeah, I mean, I think I'm with you, Will, because white, I think it does kind of highlight it just highlights all the new changes as well. I think it really shows them off. Don't you think?
Yeah, absolutely. So the only one I've not seen in the flesh is black at the moment. But here's my theory for paint options, because obviously with the Cybertruck being stainless steel, and then we're now seeing like tons of people wrapping them in all sorts of crazy colors, but matte black just is out of this world, isn't it? It's so cool. And the fact that Tesla are offering to wrap cars now, is this an experiment for the future, perhaps? So instead of, the amount of money they're saving from not having a paint shop for the Cybertruck is just huge. And for we've heard about these rumors for the upcoming compact, affordable Model 2, whatever it's going to be called. And the suggestion from one of the Tesla employees there was, paint is expensive. So perhaps they're not even going to be offering paint on this next compact $25,000 car, but what they will be offering is wraps. That would make sense, wouldn't it? They're experimenting with that already and offering these wraps to cars they are offering them in this country. I'm sure the Tesla Owners Club UK have mentioned that already. So that's where I think is perhaps coming in the future. They'll stop selling cars with paint in the future.
It's like the model, the Ford Model T, any color you want as long as it's black. So, any color you want as long as it's body colored.
I had no idea about how expensive paint was, but if you think of how much it costs for a tin of paint, and then you imagine dipping a car in that paint, like 15 coats or something, by the time you've got primers and undercoats and everything, it's a massive expensive process. So just removing that for the Cybertruck alone, it's saving a huge amount of factory floor space, labor, time, because you have to heat it up as well, don't you, to dry it. It makes a lot of sense. If you're going to make a compact small car, don't have paint on it.
Well, the way that my paint is going with the stones going up against the arches, because I haven't got mud flaps on mine. I know the paint's on the early ones like mine is quite poor at the bottom, so I could always just sand mine back, go for the aluminium look.
Yeah, I got sent those mud flaps, and I didn't never brave enough to try and tackle putting them on. That's how pathetic I am with mechanics. And
well, I've still got this Engine X module to give it like the Tesla boost and drift mode, but it's a bit complicated, and I think I'd better have an adult to assist me, truth be told. So I'm waiting for that, but
well, I remember, I'm just in awe of what you do. Is like the fact that you could just take a car apart and then rebuild it, put an electric drivetrain in it, and just anyone who can do this is blowing my
this
mind.
isn't me. This isn't me.
Oh, you let's see them and do it. Okay.
Let's get this straight. Ralph Hosier from RHEL Engineering, and just a little plug for Ralph now. So Ralph, when I decided I wanted to do an EV conversion, I chose the car after a while, and I was trying to find someone to do it with me, and no one wanted to do a EV conversion with used parts, basically. And I wanted it to have used parts, to be greener and all the rest of it. And I met Ralph. We did if you look at my really old videos, we did an EV conversion safety couple of videos, which is great if people are thinking about getting into that. It's a great first step, because obviously electric cars can kill people, just like, going to a match at a petrol pump. I've got to tell you this before I forget it. I was at Tesla Charge on the way back home tonight from Wales, and I was at the Tesla charger, and had enough charge, unplugged, and there was this guy smoking by the Tesla charger. I was like, oh, hang on.
Huh.
Oh no, we're not at a petrol station. I was thinking, is this safe? So
that's weird.
A benefit for the smokers out there: charge while smoking. Get one of those
that smokes.
I know.
That's weird. I can't even remember the last person I ran into that smoked. Maybe I'm in my own little bubble in Market Harbour here. It's a bit posh, I suppose.
That is very posh. That is very posh.
Yeah, we don't really belong here. I certainly don't. My family are fine, but I don't belong here. It's too posh. But
it was.
Not seeing a smoker. But.
Yeah, he had a cigarette on the go. It wasn't any Philly blunt on the go or anything. I was thinking, do you know what? There's a pro for the Tesla community. For people thinking about Teslas, you can have a cigarette while you're charging. I wonder maybe there should be a test for the smokers among the Tesla potential buyers to go down the route of how many miles can I get after a Marlboro Red, or maybe a Lambert and Butler extra long, something like that. Anyway, we digress. What was I talking about? Oh dear.
Embassy Miles.
Ralph.
That was my choice.
Embassy Miles. Oh, they were the little ones, weren't they? Yeah.
But the ones with little holes in the filter, so it felt like it wasn't so bad.
Oh, the mold. No, I'm thinking of what were the ones, the Embassy that was short. They were,
no, sure.
Get a bit. Anyway, nicotine. So anyway, going back to Ralph. So Ralph Hosier is doing the EV conversion, and he does also do EV conversions on buses. He does amazing courses. So anyone who's thinking about doing any car courses, EV conversion courses, or their EV training level 1, 2, 3, and 4, then he's the man to speak to. So if you put in RHEL Engineering, check it out. They do a good job. What TVR is it? It's a Wedge, a 350i, and I did have a TVR Griffith 5-litre V8. But it was I had to sell it to afford the rest of the EV conversion. So it's getting a bit expensive after 3 years or something. It is, but it's been taking a little while. So V8 3.5 to Tesla model small drive unit. So it'd be about it's going from like 190 brake horsepower with not very huge amount of torque, a decent amount of torque, probably like 150 Newton meters, something like that. I'll have to get it up on the screen, to about 300 brake. So it should be pretty naughty. And it's not going to have any power steering. It's going to have some form of traction control with a button to turn it all off. So it should be, the whole idea is just to get the essence of, the theatre of a exciting petrol car but none of the, all the positives from electric. So there's going to be some sort of vibration. There will be some sort of noise, all, not fake noise. So watch this space and check out the vlog, because it's all on the Chargeheads YouTube channel, and the trials and tribulations that I've been through, and there's plenty of them, I can tell you that. So, Will, what have we not covered with the new shape Tesla Model 3? Indicators, indicators, isn't it? What did you think?
Okay, I deliberately didn't give any opinions on X or anywhere else until I'd tried it, which is something that most people don't seem to be doing. Yeah, I went in there thinking there's going to be a problem. I'll be honest. I thought, we're all so used to, aren't we, little stalks by the steering wheel. It's been like this forever.
Did you practice your hand signals? Oh, hang on, that way, and then right, left, right.
Yeah. No, I'll tell you what happened. I was just driving, being blown away, by the silence of it, and I quickly got to my first roundabout, and my finger pressed the button, and I started indicating. Then I'm like, I've just indicated. I was very overexcited to have indicated successfully around my first roundabout, and then as I was talking, I was indicating around the next roundabout, and I'm like, oh, it's no big deal at all. It's very much there's what was I listening to? It was Jan from the Tesla Fix. He said that he recently picked up the new one. That's his new car now. And he's like, if you're used to game controllers, if you play games ever, then you just quickly, you've got the steering wheel, it's all in your hand. You're used to it. It's no bother at all. And I swear, by the end of it, I was absolutely, happy as Larry with it. I thought it was absolutely fine.
I think the first. No, go on. Sorry,
I was just going to say, on the video when I was filming it, it looks like I'm always just turning left and keeping it nice and simple. But I did do loads of, like you did in your video, I kept going around the roundabout many times and just seeing how I got on with it. And it was no bother. It really wasn't. And I thought it would have been, but it wasn't. So I urge anyone to just go for a test drive, give it a go, and be a bit open-minded as to how it feels. Because I know nobody likes change. Some people are still like freaking out about Tesla's door handles. Feel the things, but embrace change, people. Give it a go.
You just got to thumb it in. You sort of thumb it in and then pull.
Yeah, and you can fit. Yeah, I know. I was watching a video the other day, just screaming at the telly, going, "For God's sake, you've clearly driven many Model 3s. You know how to open the door, man." And he just, he made a. I won't go any further.
But going on to the indicators, on the indicator front, I was called out on one of my comments actually, because first few times I completely missed the indicator stalk. I was like, right, because I was just in auto mode. That's just how I work. And then I got used to it and going right. And then right at the end, I tried to indicate left, and I missed it because I thought it was car error, but it was obviously user error, because one of the comments said, "But Tim, you're supposed to do this signal, signal before you start, signaling, mirror, signal, maneuver, isn't it?" So I was just in auto mode, lastminute.com. That was interesting. There's sorry, go on.
So I was just going to say, I've heard from lots of people that have got now own these Teslas, and the vast majority have said that it's absolutely fine. You just get used to it, and it's no bother. So you'd assume that Tesla, you'd assume that they might have done a bit of research into this, wouldn't you? And who gave the go ahead to get rid of these stalks? I mean, it's not purely an exercise in saving money, is it? Because from Tesla's point of view, it's only 2 stalks that they're saving. They have added, a rear screen, ventilated seats, little Tesla logo on the back. They've changed this, that, and the other. They've added loads of stuff. It's not purely for a cost-saving reason that they've taken them away, is it? Just my opinion there. But
no, it's interestingly, it will. I'm sure they'll sell lots of them. It's a great car, a really good car, and something that I think would be interesting to talk about now, because I've got a fairly good understanding of some of the competitors. We've obviously got the BYD seal.
Yep.
And have you looked at the new Polestar 4 recently?
Was that out at the last Fully Charged up north? That was the last time I saw all the Polestars.
No, I don't think it was. I think it might have been. It might have been at Goodwood Festival of Speed, but maybe not. But Tesla might have lost their indicators, but the Polestar 4 it's probably not in direct comparison because it's more Polestar 3 against Tesla Model 3, but the Polestar 4 hasn't got a rear window.
Oh, I did not know
Just
that.
got-
I clearly
just-
don't know this car. I'm gonna have to
Just got
look into
rear
that.
rear camera. It's just got a rear
Oh.
camera instead of rear window. And very interesting car. And I would urge anybody to have a little look. It does look. I watched the Johnny Smith Late Break Show review of it, and it does look really interesting from quality, technology, and everything else point of view. From a Tesla owner, being a Tesla owner, it's interesting to see what is coming out, what is, what are the interesting options if you don't want to get a Tesla. But going back to the BYD Seal, which is more of a like for like in terms of size and price. Do you know much about the BYD Seal, Will, or have you seen it yet?
Yeah, I've been in it. Yeah, just at
okay.
the fully charged events. Yeah, just poking around it.
Yeah. What did you think?
That's the saloon, isn't it? It's the
Yeah.
I'm questioning myself now. Was that there? Maybe it wasn't, but I do know it. Yeah, I've seen it. I've been in. What's the small one called?
The Dolphin.
Dolphin, and there's another one. Is it just the Dolphin and the Seal?
Atos 3.
Atos 3. No,
that's the SUV.
Yes, I've been in the Atos 3 and
and
the Dolphin. So no, I've not been in this other one, but I've seen it. I know it's going to be the equivalent of the Model 3, isn't it?
Oh yeah. Sorry, we've got a couple of questions here. Better dive in. Dean's asked the sexy buttons. Company are bringing out add-on stalks for people who want them. Yes, funnily enough, I mentioned that in my video because I thought that was a really good thing for people who just really want to have another kind of option. So that's a good point, Dean. David has said, are they actually ventilated or just holes in the leather? I'll let you ask that question, Will, because I think you experienced it more than I.
I can confirm that the noise beneath my bottom was indeed the ventilated seats, which are just in the front. So it's the two front seats, and in the rear now. In my car and previous Tesla Model 3s, you've had 3 heat pads in a row. You've only now got the exterior seats, which are heated in the rear. None of those back seats are ventilated, though. They just have holes for appearance, which is a bit weird.
So there's no heated one in the middle now at the back?
No, that's right.
Ooh, interesting. That's interesting.
There was already an argument that broken out in the showroom when I was having a look at it, because there was 3 little girls as part of a family, and one of the little ones was very cross.
Well, as the third youngest child of 3, and that would have been my cold bottom, unfortunately.
But you get the screen to yourself, so swings and roundabouts.
Yes, good point. Yeah, that would have been all mine as well. I'm interested to know. I don't know if you know this, Will, whether if you've got kids in the back, can you connect 2 or 3 pairs of Bluetooth headphones to the screen? Or
I know you can connect Bluetooth headphones. I'm not sure how many. I guess it would just be one feed to them, wouldn't it? You wouldn't be able to have separate audio feeds. It's depending on what you were watching, wouldn't it? So whatever's coming on the screen.
Interesting one. I know that a lot. Going back to the BYD, I think a lot of people are like, it's positives against the Tesla in terms of certain prices and everything else. I mean, the way that I see it, because I always look at the long range, less so the short range, and I know a few tests have been done on them. I think was it Auto Trader or one of the traditional legacy car magazine manufacturer YouTube videos. They did a BYD versus the ID.7 versus the Tesla Model 3. And the Tesla absolutely hammered all of them in terms of efficiency and cost, obviously the charging network and everything else. But what really annoys me about the BYD, again, because I'm a bit of a charge head, is the fact that the long range has only got 150 kilowatts of max charging speed. Whereas the Tesla, they haven't upgraded it on the Tesla, but it's still 250, which I think that's fast. I mean, 250 is fast.
Absolutely,
Bear in mind, there are other cars out there with 800-volt architectures, like the Hyundai Ioniq, the Kia EV6, the Audi e-tron GT, and the Porsche Taycan, and the Cybertruck, which we'll come on to in a minute, Will, because I know you and me love a bit of Cybertruck action. But yeah, it just seems.
Well, just talking to BYD for a moment. I mean, I'm really grateful and happy that BYD exists. It's this is the company
Definitely.
that all the legacy auto companies should have been clearly transitioned to electric cars far sooner. And BYD, as a battery company first, have transitioned into this car company, and now are building, I think, almost 1.6 million pure electric cars last year. So and Tesla made 1.8 million electric cars. So although in the last quarter of last year, they BYD just pinched them to a post. I'm making up phrases. But BYD, here's the problem. Like, I think they're about 8 times less profitable to BYD than a Tesla, you see. So they're not making anywhere near as much money on their sales. And then they've got the problem of, okay, so people are buying them in China. Wonderful. They're, for the Chinese market. But then you've got the rest of the world that they need to be selling cars in Europe and in America and stuff. And then you've got things like tariffs getting in the way. So by the time the BYD's in the UK, it's too expensive. I mean, I would have thought these BYDs would have been really undercutting a Tesla. But when you're looking at, I think it's £6,000 more for the BYD Seal standard range. I think that's right. I may be wrong. Than the cheaper Tesla Model 3 at $39,990.
Although the Tesla Model 3 long range is 40. Well, it's 39 with all the nines, isn't it?
49,990 for the long range.
Is it 40?
49,990 for the long range.
Okay, and then the BYD Seal is the 48.5. I better double check that because I just want to make sure that that's accurate.
Okay.
Yeah, I know the BYD is £1,500 less expensive than the long range, and on paper it says it's quicker.
Right. Yeah,
but on quarter mile, the Tesla Model 3 is actually, I think Carwow did a test on 0 to 60. The BYD's quicker on paper, but on 0 to 60 the BYD's quicker, but on a quarter mile the Tesla Model 3 is the same. But then again, on the Tesla Model 3 you could just boost it if you wanted it to be quicker. BYD Seal.
But what I think should have been happening is obviously BYD need to be undercutting Tesla, but because of Tesla's price war that's going on. I mean, how can BYD keep slashing prices if they're not making enough, if they're not making any money from them? I mean, that's a bit of a problem when you are going to be the biggest EV manufacturer in the world. You need to be also profitable around the world, not just Chinese market.
I think what you'll see as well, I think this year, not only you're going to see an onslaught of advertising and marketing from BYD, more than likely Geely and Polestar. But yeah, I think there's going to be there still will be some cost cutting although that's probably not the route that they want to go, because Tesla, like you said, they can absolutely blow them out the water.
Well, here's the surprise though, isn't it? If they don't do it quickly, and Tesla do end up reducing the cost of their cars, because let's not forget the Model 3 is 30% cheaper to build now than it was when it first came out. And then you got last year, they've now made further savings of extra $3,000 on each car sold. So that's pretty much taken it to 40% cheaper for them to manufacture a Model 3 than it was when it first came out. And they're going to keep driving these costs down from manufacturing and just lowering the cost of everything, from batteries and, economies of scale and stuff. So, and then they're going to produce the next generation Model 2. So a $25,000 car, but it's going to be half the cost for them to build than the Model 3. So this new manufacturing process that Tesla have got up their sleeve, which they're going to be replicating in Giga Mexico and all these other factories around the world within a couple of years, perhaps. If BYD and all these other car companies cannot produce a car today for that of the same price of a Model 3 for the similar sort of profit margins, how on earth are they going to compete against this cheaper Model 2 in the future? We've seen Volkswagen, haven't we, coming out with this wonderful ID2 that was meant to be out by next year. That's just been kicked down the road again. Yeah, I mean, I was really happy. I did a video about it very early on in my channel. Last year, I was really happy that they were coming out with this. But God, you've got to get on with this. If you don't do this quickly and try and figure out how to make it profitably amongst your $1/3 of $1 trillion of debt, which Volkswagen are in, you know, how are they going to survive? And this is part of the story that just blows me away. Like putting all these Tesla jigsaw pieces together of all the different car companies.
Sorry, Dean. Doug's just asked, is Sony and Apple still bringing out their proposal of cars? Sony, as far as I'm aware, Sony were dealing with Honda. I'm not sure how that is going. Probably not too fantastic. Apple they've delayed their car, I think, till 2025 or something like that, haven't they? Or something even further.
Yeah.
But yeah, nothing to worry about, mate.
With the car. Yeah, no, not happening. I mean, you're talking. I don't think it's even going to get started, to be honest. They've been kicking this can down the road for so long with the Apple car, and you know, I don't know. It takes such a long time to just get a car company started. I mean, Tesla's been going since 2003. You know, it's a long time. They're already, entering maturity, if you like, at 21 years old or whatever it is. So for Apple or Sony to suddenly start thinking they can build cars, they're not battery companies, they're not car manufacturers, they're not software companies. They're and that's what Tesla has got just over everybody else, is vertical integration beneath them, that they can, make all the parts themselves. They've got the best software engineers and in the world. If you ask the top graduating students in America who you want to work for, it's Tesla or SpaceX. Every time. It's like that's where the best engineers want to go and work. So, for Sony or Apple just to think they can, I mean, Lucid is a prime example, isn't it? You've got all the money in the world that's backed by Saudi Arabia and, this, what's his name, Rawlingson chap, who's seems to be taking home a pay packet more than Elon Musk, I think. They can throw all the money they like to it, but if they can't make profitable cars on mass scale, you ain't going to win. That's what's so interesting about the whole automotive industry at the moment. And
Fisker's another example. I think they're going to be going down the toilet. They already are down the toilet in terms of their share price. I think that's not going to be far away. Just going back to BYD Seal, you're right. The design, BYD Seal design, which is the less expensive one, is 45,700 or 45,695, and then
that's
excellent,
it's almost $6,000 more. Wow.
Then the Excellence all-wheel drive is 48,695. So you are right. I was 10 grand out on the Tesla Model 3, stupidly. But yeah, the short-range Tesla Model 3 just shows to be such good value in comparison. So yeah, it's a bit of a no-brainer.
Here's some. There is some extra news there, though. I do believe BYD are about to build a factory in Hungary to produce cars for Europe. So
interesting.
Technically, you'll lose the tariffs perhaps, and you'll be able to get cheaper cars. But again, unless they're going to be driving the cost down of these cars like tremendously, and then Tesla comes out with this $25,000 car still profitably, I don't know how, from all my sort of Tesla obsession and stuff, just watching things play out over the years, I just don't see any sort of path for traditional auto companies at the moment at all. It really seems like the whole car company is about to implode, and no one really understands that it's coming. It's kind of all Tesla's fault. And it's only going to be BYD left, a handful of Chinese car companies, although there are 300 Chinese electric car companies. Just to put that out there, there's a lot.
Well, I think they are starting to narrow that down quite a bit. But I completely agree with you, Will. And I think Geely are going to be fine. I think with the Volvo, the Polestar, the Lotus brand, I think those are strong. They're strong brands.
Though, even Polestar's struggling though, because they're not selling enough in China. Yeah, which was
are they not?
Which no is as I've heard today. I think on one of the things. Yeah, it is interesting. Everywhere you look,
I stand corrected. Just like the man in the orthopedic shoes. Yeah,
but I think Hyundai, Kia. I mean, they'll probably do okay. I think they're South Korean company. They're doing good, but I just don't know who gets left. I mean, everyone else, Ford, GM, Volkswagen, they're slowing down their electric vehicle plans. It's just mind blowing.
They're slowing it down now, are they? I knew that VW were.
Yeah, for the F-150, they've I can't quite remember the numbers of what they're doing, but they're certainly not going ahead with like their massive plans for additional battery factories and things like that, and the production of the Mustang Mach-E and things like that. It's the exact opposite of what they should be doing, but I get why they're not doing it. I think they're all coming to terms with the fact that there's just no surviving this now. Which is just brutal.
I think you're right, but there's something that hasn't probably factored in here, because I do believe you're right, but a couple
I
of
hope I'm not
factors.
right. Just to point out, I don't want to be right with this, but all the arrows are pointing one way, you know.
I'll tell you.
Carry on.
No, it's fine. Couple of factors. One, I think Trump is going to be elected. I think that's going to make a huge difference to the American market, and I think that might hurt Tesla a bit. That's my gut feeling. Two, it depends on something could happen in the world. You know, you look at the chip shortage, which Tesla, they smashed it because they didn't rely on other companies. So the supply chain wasn't an issue for them. But there could be anything, anything could happen. Anything could happen. So
definitely learned that in the last few years, but
well,
you never know what's coming next, do you? You just
exactly. And whether it's I don't want to scaremonger, but a lot of things could happen which could disrupt other things. But I know I'm not that. Yes, I do love a lot of the legacy automated cars of the past, but I think they have been dragging their heels, and it's been a detriment to clean air, and that's something that I'm really, really passionate about. And this is why I'm passionate about the electrification, not just because I like fast cars and exciting cars, which electric cars give me that. Yeah, some petrol cars do as well, but it's the clean air thing for me. And in cities, I live very close to a dual carriageway, and there's cars going up and down that all day long, and you see the odd electric car, but it would be nice from a noise pollution and an actual air pollution point of view.
Absolutely.
Don't get me wrong, there's still room for the classics and the retro cars, but I'm sure at some point it will be, the government are pushing to take them off the road, and there's lots of scaremongering around, because they want to have control of the car, they want to be able to stop it, and all these other things. But ultimately, who knows? Who knows what the government's planning?
If I'm sort of brutally honest with all this, I'm constantly on an error correcting course. If I'm wrong, I want to know about it. I'm constantly trying to prove myself wrong with all sorts of stuff, and I've been on this sort of weird journey with net zero. I did videos about London and the congestion charge thing, and the ULEZ videos and stuff. When I first started, really, just a year ago now. But the more you learn about the idea of net zero, and the more you do ask the question, at what cost? You know what I mean? At what cost do we want to force people to make certain changes? And I've been really kind of pushing my thoughts here, and and another thing that keeps playing on my mind that there's a bit dark and disturbing is like my kids' school and stuff. I know there's some children there that are young children. They're for example, one child said to my sister who works at the school, it's like, I don't want to have kids when I'm older. I don't want to bring them into this world. Do you know what I mean? There's already too many people, which there's not. That's absolutely wrong. There's a population decline. It's not growing. And, the world is such a terrible place. How can we possibly feed everyone? And we're all going to die anyway in some miserable, global warming disaster. It's like, how far do we really want to be, ramming this down the throats of children? And that question is really uncomfortable. But I want to ask it. I've always been a massive fan of like David Attenborough and everything he's saying, and the world would, but the moment you hear like the world would be a better place without humans on it, you're at that point anti-human. You're anti-species. You know what I mean? It's like it's a real fine balance between, yes, I want clean air. I want everyone to switch to electric cars. I want to switch to the whole electric economy. It can be done, sustainable energy. But I don't want all that done at the cost of people who can't afford any of these things, who can't afford to swap out their boiler or insulate their homes and anything like that. So there's this whole sort of political issue, isn't there? And it, that's the thing that I think about quite a lot. I'm really driven to try and do what I can, but understand like where the boundaries are with all this, because it sort of is very frustrating, isn't it?
Yeah.
Anyway, weird rant over. Sorry.
No. I'm going to start ranting in a second. So just before that, though, Hyundai has some cooler car these days. Yep, completely agree.
Absolutely.
The Hyundai Ioniq X5N is exceptionally fun. I did a little video when I was at Goodwood Festival of Speed, and I was like a kid in a sweet shop, bouncing off the limiter, the electric limiter with the special noises. I thought it was great fun.
What does the N stand for? What's that?
Never going to catch me. It's the performance kind of label of the Hyundai, basically the N model.
Yeah.
Also, could we see the end of top brands like Ferrari, Lamborghini 10 to 20 years from now?
Unless they go electric, yeah.
I think it really depends on the dynamic of the wealth in the population. You know, if people, I've been watching far too much Joe Rogan today, Will, and I think you'd have probably, bearing in mind, I've driven to Wales and back today, so I think you'll get with me on this one. But yeah, I think
it depends which episode you're listening to. If you listen to,
there's a few. There's a few. I don't know. I think the amount of wealth, and you could argue greed at the moment, you know, whether it's from all the industries that are completely messing things up, potentially influencing the media and the government to make our lives go a particular way, which is the particular way that, you know, a certain group who might be able to control and have the money and all the rest of it, pushing us in that specific way. If you could argue that, you know, if it is 10 to 20 years time, when things are dramatically different from a political point of view and an affordability point of view, are there going to be, you know, people that can afford those type of luxury goods, or are we going to be in that position from a political point of view? You know, bearing in mind there's, you know, very much there's always a bit of a divide, but there does seem to be an extreme divide at the moment in the political world and political preferences. You know, see a lot of, you know, kind of communism style, you know, are certain countries going to go that route? And, you know, those sort of brands will disappear. Who knows, Doug? You know, it's so, in my opinion, it's so fragile at the moment. Everything is so fragile. So it's so difficult to predict these things. But one thing I do hope is that we, in the main, we do progress with the transition, the electric transition, to make things more efficient. I'm not talking about loads more cars, and yes, I am passionate about cars, but what I do hope that, you know, that we'll get more regulations on e-scooters and more electric transport, public transport, to make it cleaner, cheaper, more efficient and easier, especially with like AI driving, you know, full self-driving, because that's the way I see it going. You know, less cars on the road, you get your app, press the button, oh, it's arrived, jump in the car, off you go, drop off, and another one's gone. That's where I would like to be, putting everything else aside.
Yeah, I mean, there's nothing stopping the whole world just moving towards a sustainable electric economy. You would just have to build that future. You know, and this is the excitement that I have from Tesla. They've actually come up with a plan. They've seen and calculated, you know, everything that we need to do as a planet globally. And the same as, you know, Tony Seba from Rethink X, if anyone's seen any of his stuff, you know, this transition to a sustainable economy can happen, but it takes actual companies to build the stuff. You know, if you don't make stuff, there is no stuff. You know, and this is my ultimate frustration, because you've got a world that's being divided now by the mainstream media ramming the most nonsense rubbish down people's throats every day about Elon and about Tesla and everything else. Now, you know, whatever you might think about Elon the person, you know, people just need to separate what they're reading in a headline and what the actual guy is saying. You know, if you listen to what he's saying on any podcast, that, you know, Joe Rogan or whatever, you know,
F you guys. I think that was.
I mean, yeah, great. You know, he's got his heart in the right place, and he is team humanity. He wants humanity to thrive and survive. And the backlash just against Tesla, you know, the fact that people could be anti-Tesla at the moment, it's just heartbreaking, because it's the company that's doing the most to push this planet in the right direction. You know, this was not coming from any other car company or any other company on earth, to be quite frank. You know, and yeah, if you just look at, you know, Tesla's, you know, master plan for a start, secret master plan, and see, you know, what their plan has been from day one, you'll see that this is all part of it, you know, to get towards a sort of energy abundant future and give us the capability to be energy independent at home, you know, with solar panels, battery storage, an electric car, and then you get yourself a heat pump, and then you're off gas. You know, you don't need to use gas anymore. You can create your own energy and store it for use when you need it. I mean, these little, Tesla ecosystem is fantastic. It should be celebrated, as should everything else that Elon's doing. Starlink giving internet to the globe for the first time, to communities that have never had access to the internet. And all of a sudden you've got the internet. I mean, just that one thing alone should be celebrated. But what do we see every day in the news? What are we seeing on The Guardian today? All hail the judge that told Elon, that stood up to Elon because he doesn't get his pay packet. It just makes me sick, and this is The Guardian's approach of supporting the person who's doing the most for the planet. And anyone who disagrees with that statement, I think, sorry, you're misinformed. I think he is the person on Earth that's doing the most for humanity right now. But he's thinking on such a long-term, goal. He's thinking, let's get this species to Mars, because if we get a meteorite, an asteroid impact, and it wipes out, this entire, billions of years of evolution, then at least we are backed up as a species on Mars, and we could perhaps carry on our light of consciousness into the stars someday. But unless we get there, this whole experiment of humans evolving for these billions of years would be for nothing if we just wipe ourselves out with a stupid war, an accidental nuclear war attack or whatever, or a disease that is actually worth paying attention to, dare I say it. Anyway, I should probably stop there, shouldn't I?
No, Will. Let's carry on.
Yeah, I feel like this is more a Joe Rogan podcast than a chat about cars.
Welcome to Chargeheads Live. We've turned into Rant Live now, which is absolutely fine. Zoe, yes, you are late. Disgusting. Did you reach the goal? Yeah, so the charitable goal for the hair, losing the hair. Yes, we've surpassed it. I think it was last time I saw it was 1,350. So again, thank you very much for everyone who donated. And anyone that's on, please make sure you like the video just to highlight what we're doing here in terms of Chargeheads and also Tesla Jigsaw with Will.
Thank you, crazy madman who's ranting. Sorry.
No, it's good. It's good.
My first ever live stream. I've never done anything like this before, so it's quite hard to sort of hold back, isn't it, when you just sort of go off on a tangent? But you've got more experience in perhaps holding your tongue and just,
Not really, not really. I just being able to get it out is sometimes in a well comprehended way. See, I can't even do it now. There we go.
Yeah, I can't.
But
yeah.
It's no, there are lots of things. The thing about this live is not only do we talk about interesting subjects that do need to be talked about, but also I get to meet some really interesting people. We touch some really interesting subjects, and there isn't anyone really talking. Although we've been talking mainly about Teslas today, it is mainly on sort of the modified EVs and the EV conversions. And on that subject, Will, because I know we've probably gone over the hour now. What time is it? Oh dear, yeah, we are really rocking on. Let's leave it with this then, Will. And before I do this, is there anything else you wanted to cover before we do the last subject of the live stream?
I'm having a lovely time. I'll stay as long as you need, so whatever. Excellent.
Well, I'll tell you what we'll do. We will leave it after this. We could always bring you back, Will, because it'd be great to have you on again as our Tesla expert. But
I'll take it.
Modifications. Have you done any modifications to your Tesla Model 3?
I have not, no. Although we were part of the Concours d'Elegance at the Supercharged event, just because we had a bed in the back.
I do remember that. Is there any modifications you are thinking about doing to your current one, or any that you feel like doing on, a model in the future?
The only thing I've done is put the little aluminium pedals on the pedals. That's about it. No, I've kept quite minimalist, I suppose. I really love seeing other people modding their cars. I've always enjoyed that. But for me, it's a family car. My wife drives it a lot. She's not going to want it to be looking all different.
Chapped up. Yeah, no, my wife hates it, but
I love your wheels though. I think they're cool.
She's married to me, so she hasn't really got much choice. Oh. She's just left. Oh dear. No, it's I've always been into making it look a little bit different. Obviously we see a lot of Teslas on the road, and as soon as I see a little like slight difference on a Tesla Model 3. You're like, oh, someone's put wheels on that. And I've not seen many modified ones recently. I remember passing one that was more, it was modded further than mine. So it's great to see. And, anyone that is thinking about modding their Tesla or their EV, then, let us know, send us some pictures, hashtag me in, and add us on Instagram, etc. So it'd be great to see. So as a bit of a round.
Sorry, are you going to Supercharged again?
Yes, I'm sure I will be.
It
was good. Yeah, it was good. I'm sure there'll be some modified ones there. I don't know whether I'll have my car there because mine's certainly not concourse, hence the name Rusty. But as just a bit of I'm sure I'll see you there. It's in the diary. So
yeah, well, I won't be there till Saturday night. We've got a wedding first, so we need to play at that and then whiz down.
Oh no, I won't be there Saturday night. I would have thought no. But yeah, I'll be there in the morning for sure. The what I was going to finish with is, first of all, thanks everybody for commenting. Thanks to everyone for liking. One thing I will say though is we have got a EV modified. No, it's not even EV modified. EV meet at Caffeine and Machine, but it's actually a caffeine run EV meet, and it's Monday night at both the Bedfordshire and Stratford-upon-Avon. At the moment, I think I'll go to the Stratford-upon-Avon one. I better make up my mind this weekend and put it out there. So please let me know if you are going to either of those events. I think it starts at 6, goes on till 10 Monday night. Will, you should come down if you can make it. I think I'm probably going to go to
on Mondays, I'm afraid. Yeah.
No, it's a bit of a weird one. Normally, I have my monthly meet Saturday mornings, but I thought, you know what, let's give it a go with Caffeine Machine this evening.
Next time you do a Saturday one, let me know. I'll be all over it because I want to come to more things like that. It'd be really, really nice.
Good stuff. And
I really enjoyed just to put a shout out to Ewan McTurk, because I listened to your podcast, your stream with him. A week or two ago. He was such a great thing to listen to about battery chemistry and stuff. And also I went down to support Fully Charged when they opened up their Stop Burning Stuff campaign. So I went down to Westminster and watched Ewan on stage with Robert Llewellyn and stuff. Just to sort of just wanted to be a little part of it. But it was great. Again, Ewan the clarity at which he speaks about batteries and chemistry and everything is wonderful. So really recommend anyone listens to that past one that he did with him. It's great. Yeah, it's all gone now. I mean, I remembered it at the time.
Oh no, I definitely need to go back and listen to that one in the car because my head was hurting. I was trying to take it all in, but there's a lot. This sponge can only take so much. And on that note, it's perfect little click actually for my next video, which is going to be about the battery degradation on my Tesla Model 3 Rusty, which has done 94, but when we did the test it's 93. So that will be coming out as soon as I get my iMac back, because I've done the video, I just need to release it. Have you got a next video, Will? Have you got something coming up?
No, I have no idea, but I'm going to start making it tomorrow.
Okay.
Kind of how I roll.
I like that.
I wake up and see what to do. It's just, there's no shortage of Tesla news and stories to create videos about. So I can just pick my topic tomorrow. I've got a folder somewhere on my desktop just full of like script ideas and things. I could talk about Tesla forever, as anyone who visits my channel. If you ever need me on, just give me a shout. More than happy to. Bear in mind how close we are. So I didn't realise how close we were. So that's interesting. Meet you in Northampton. I don't know what my next video is going to be, but it will, other than the battery one. But next week, I can't remember what it is. I can never remember what EV chat. So I'm sure I'll highlight it during the week anyway. But thanks everyone for listening. Thanks for commenting. Thanks for liking. Will, you've been a pleasure. Thank you very much. I'm sure we'll have you on again. And I'll see everyone next Thursday at 8 o'clock or in person, in the flesh. Right. You never know. Bye,
thanks,
everyone.
Will. Take care, mate.
Bye.